As I've made changes in my life along the way, I've uh, I've had to do a lot of clearing out of the old ways of thinking, mainly for me, and as well as clearing in the physical as well, clearing things out physically from my life, and a lot of changing, transitioning. Um, I've moved around quite a lot, and also for me that when changes have really happened and took a major position in my life and played a major part in getting me to the next step, the next stage, and next phase, it's been through a major clearing out physically moving, and it happened quite a lot as a child. I've said on here, I've spoken in prior videos, and I've been physically clearing today. For me, whilst I was doing it, I was thinking about the self-sabotage aspect of myself and sabotage in general, and how we can all fall victim to doing it, and I use that term like that, I use it and applied it to a few things. We do fall victim to self-sabotage, and how we can all sabotage other aspects of things that are in our lives, and for me, I've really craved for connection and stuff like that, and yeah, a little bit uncomfortable. You see me touch myself and that there. It's uncomfortable to speak out loud sometimes, Yeah, so that's a thing for you to understand. As a body cue. That body cue for me was the uncomfortable coming out and showcasing in my behaviour, my body language, and yeah, but it's uncomfortable, for me to speak about these things, but it's a good thing. And it's part of the clearing for me, which is what I'm talking about, and so my craving for real connection, I realise has probably been hindered by my own self-sabotaging, and also just sabotage from the in general, and it's done on both sides of a conscious level and also a subconscious level. I think there's quite a few connections I've sabotaged on purpose, not wanting to go any further with it because it just didn't serve me any good in the purpose. Though I want to refer to the self-sabotage subconsciously without us knowing sometimes. And this is something I've reflected on as I was physically clearing items today from my place, removing outward old. And sometimes we need to do this at times, and especially when things clutter up, unnecessary things. We can all be guilty of accumulating and holding on to things, storing. And when we store these things, physical items and older items potentially, despite us being capable of maybe maintaining them and maybe fixing some of these things that we have. I'm talking tangible items, by the way, just reference. So fixing and either maintaining, they do collect, an aspect of, we use the word energy or a feeling, an association, we should say, rather than energy. We use it now, these words. They culminate an association, these items, these physical items that we all hold on to. We see them as plentiful because we see them as abundant, or they look good, or they have an association where you've either put work into them to receive the items or get the items, and even if they've been faulty and we've made do with it, we've fixed them up, made them look better, or we just maintain them in general, they do have an association. And for me, I was clearing out quite a lot of stuff that I've just been maintaining, and despite me maintaining them, they have fallen to the wayside. So I'll just use for example, I've had 2 plants that I've got rid of today because they've not done the best. So for me, it looked energetically wise, like, there was a bit draining, because any time I'd look at them, it was reminding me of the maintenance and effort I've got to put in to keep those plants, when really they're just not grown very well in the circumstances, because most plants are just clones of older plants, and sometimes you can just buy a plant and it's not going to grow great ever, despite it maybe looking good as a seedling. Once the plant grows and matures, it will grow as, you know, a not so great looking version of its former self, and like what it was cut from or propagated out of and then put into soil, or however it was grown in a nursery. So I cleared these 2 plants basically, and it was almost a release for me. It was a relief knowing that I haven't got to continue to put in effort to something that's wilting, that doesn't feel so great energetically, and also physically doesn't look great, and is having an effect on me. So all that association with the plant, I was able to just remove the plant and say, okay, it's time for the change for this plant, and time for the change in my environment, energetically and space-wise, for something new to come in, or like for the potential for that plant to look at its best, like looking like a new version of itself. I was hanging on to the association that I've got to maintain and put a lot of work into something that potentially might not. So rather than do that, I just released it, because the hanging on, the association, as I said, I've repeated a few times, I know, I've let go like that. So basically that was just helping me use that as an analogy, apologies for that, to refer to the clearance of clutter, physical, and association. So the same aspect applies to the way we self-sabotage, and also sabotage connections, maybe opportunities, and even sabotaging other things in general, you know, whereas we always go, oh, I wish I'd never done that, or I could have done that sooner, or afterwards you look at something. So I'll give you an example, just say like relationships. Relationships and connections are complex as it is, especially as we get older and we've been through many experiences in life, and we all have scars and wounds, and despite us being strong people and being resilient and working through these things, we can adopt a certain mindset and carry, maybe not so great association to certain things that happen in relationship dynamics, like patterns of behaviour, or things that you do like or don't like. Let's just say people use the word, something may give you the ick, or something you really like once and then you've changed and things are different now because you've moved forwards and it's not quite what you want. But basically the association of something, or a behaviour, or something that happened in your past with previous relationships, with either platonic or intimate, and the association to those behaviours or happenings or circumstances. It could be something happened in a relationship, like you were betrayed in some way, or something didn't go quite right, or even a good memory, a happy association, all the same, because this correlates too. And maybe you have a negative association to the person that you had a great experience with, and even though you're having a new experience with somebody else, you're carrying the association of that good experience to someone that you hold a negative association to. So therefore, subconsciously, sometimes we can almost look into things a little too much with new relationships in our lives, and maybe have our backs up a little bit and be a little bit too guarded, or more guarded than we should be with them, because of the association of said behaviours, or maybe it could be talking about a film or music or smell, or a certain hobby or lifestyle pattern of behaviour, and we end up acting almost like a former version of ourselves, despite moving forward from that, and almost sabotage real connections and new ones in our life where there was no negative association to in the first place, but because we was holding on to this stored negative connotation to something that was associated to something completely that should be disassociated to. So basically for me is understanding the clearing of these things, and including mindset as well as thinking about the association to others, and trying to get back to knowing new people and fully embracing the idea of that when you're in new dynamics with others, that when you walk forwards with them, that you're not trying to go anywhere with them in the dynamic you have with these new people as you would have with the previous ones, despite still wanting to enjoy some good aspects and not having a negative association to it. So therefore it's a clearance, complete clearance, and there's understanding that we have to do that. So I was just thinking about sabotaging and how we can do that sometimes, because despite me cutting off people that are maybe negative and fully are quite not great for me, I do realise that I have along the way sometimes cut connections a bit too short because of the negative associations to patterns of behaviour and my guard being up, and there was potential there for good aspects to come through. So an important note to say on this one is that clearing is important, regardless of whether it's physical or internal. It's an important thing to note. 11:11 on the timer again, and yeah. So just a thought for tonight, and I'll leave that with you, and just something to think about, be mindful of, because I've noticed it in myself and I notice it in others too. So if this resonated with you in any way, shape or form, feel free to comment and leave a comment in the comment section, and tell me what your thoughts are, and if this sat with you the same way it has with me, or you think the same, or you've been doing the same actively. If you liked what I said and spoke about, please consider giving me a like. Don't even consider it, just give me a like anyway. If you watch me for long enough and you watch the whole video, give it a like. Support me. And maybe share it with somebody else that might need to hear it. And just remember that this is a safe space, and I'll repeat this every video because it really is, And I'm all about changing perspective when it comes to holding on to negative aspects of our minds and how they can run away from us, I'm very much a thinking person, and I'm clearing out the old and bringing in new, because I'm moving into new, calmer waters again, and people say new levels, new devils. Well, I say you get to certain positions of life, you hold them for a while, and then you clear out those old ones and you make space for the new. And that's how we should continue to be thinking, So if you haven't already, and this is the first time seeing me, I'm Craig, and this is Craig's Corner. My handle is at Craig Collins 1111 if you want to tell anyone else, and consider subscribing so you might see some more of me, Might see this old man's boat race. Oh, I'm not that old really, but yeah. Anyways, all the same, and thanks for being here.